everybody, One here. Friday, December 11th. We just introduced the mysterious Dark Element Nightfall. She should be quite the intriguing character in terms of how she pans out upgrade-wise, but has a pretty sweet little teleportation type sneak. They call it a dash attack. I consider it more of like a stealth teleportation type thing, but nonetheless, it's pretty cool. Check out her introduction if you have not. What we're going to do now is move on to Splat. Splat, I've heard pretty much, I'd say like 4/5 of you love her. And right now, you know, it's very limited. I'm getting still a lot of people like, oh, I saw her, but I couldn't get her type of comments. So, consensus not yet 100%, but amongst the early adopters of Splat, it's kind of predominantly heavily in favor of her. What I want to know, the figure looks really good. They did a very nice job with it. The color of the skin on the figure is sort of like a bright light pink, and then the artwork in the game, the stat card, the sticker sheet I should say, packaging, it's sort of like this light cardboard hue enhanced purple. And this is one of those weird times where the figure looks way better than the artwork. And the thing is, sometimes neither of those translate into what you see in the game. Generally, you're more inclined to see something more in line with the artwork from the gameplay than you would the figure. But we're going to throw her down on the portal, see what she looks like, and then more importantly, I guess for most people, now, is we will see how she pans out. Again, my apologies on my voice. I thought I was doing a lot better, but apparently I'm not. So we'll pull Nightfall, got her a little cash, get her base upgrades done so we can get her quest knocked out.
The Art of War!
She looks like the art. She sounds good though. That's a shame, bro. See, she like washes out with that purple. That's what I said in the unboxing. Oh, that's a cool idle animation. If you look at her hair, it's not an accurate representation, and it probably doesn't help that we've got like the fall foliage colors going on here in chapter 20ish. But man, she would have looked way better if they matched that kind of like bright light pink. See, like over there on the black hole, you know, like the legendary treasure just at the like midpoint of the staircase, there's sort of that like blue, purple, and then there's the pink towards the top corner. Had her skin tone have been that color and just then tweak the hair a little bit, she would pop. See, like right now, she is kind of like she's in the shadows, you know, and she seems like she should be bright and colorful, which the figure is, but the artwork isn't. At least that's my take on it all. So what we will do here is sit down in our chair and go to our spreadsheet. We're gonna take a look at her stats to begin.
Picture perfect.
This brightens it up a lot because the lighting is better. But again, this is pretty much on par with her, you know, packaging, the sticker sheet, the artwork, the strategy guide picture, and the figure looks, in my opinion, much better. She doesn't look bad, it's just I think she would have popped a lot more with kind of that light pink. She looks pretty cute though, so I guess that's all that matters. Anyway, what we'll do, we want to take a look at the stats. And her max health is going to be 240. Her speed, we were going to log that at 43. Again, somewhere along the way we've like bumped up speed, armor, and critical hit through our Portal Master ranks. I don't really exactly remember when, but we did it. And so everything's kind of skewed a little bit. So her armor is 6. Critical hit will be 4, and elemental power will log as 25. So pretty respectable, I guess, kind of generic, maybe middle of the pack stats. I'm hoping that she's quick. The 43 on the speed, I would have thought she would have been faster than that. Maybe she'll be one of the fast 43s. So while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at her. See that, like, the color of the hair, if you put that, take the gloss away, kind of make it more of like a matte color, and put that on her, like, face, and, you know, like the fur on the arms and everything, I think she just would have, like, she would have been brighter, more, like, colorful, playful, kind of giving off those types of vibes. It's kind of growing on me seeing her like this, but if I were to hold the figure up beside it, and you were here with me with, like, a, you know, lance cam looking at the TV and the figure, I think a lot of you would agree with me that, like, oh hey, that figure would actually look better if it was just straight, correlated into the game. But again, it is what it is, and it's not too horrible, so we'll just take it as it is. So I'll attempt to twirl her around slowly as we go, but I can't monitor it because I only have 2 eyes. But nonetheless, Splat, her slogan is the art of war, vehicle of course the Splatter Splasher. Bio time, Splat grew up in a typical fawn village, which we all know what a typical fawn village is like, right? I mean, I was in one yesterday. The galoshes are amazing. Anyway, which was perfectly manicured and orderly, so we've kind of got a feel for it now, right? Just a peaceful kind of Animal Crossing type like place, that's the way I imagine it. Every day in school, if I'm losing you here at the school part, and you didn't watch her unboxing, just wait. She becomes pretty cool, so you can spell school without cool, but you need to pull the H, So anyway, she and her classmates would recite the same poems, play the same music, and paint the same picture, which was always a portrait of their great ancestor, Floody Hoof Dancer. Big whoop-de-doo. But this didn't suit Splat because she's awesome, and she's not boring, and she's full of color, life, and vigor that can't be contained to the fawn village. The only art she wanted to learn, are you ready for this? Are you ready to like her background story? Even the naysayers? The only art she wanted to learn was the art of war. After school, she would sneak off to the river, that still cracks me up, and practice her own free-form fighting techniques against chompies and other creatures that were causing trouble. When the elder fawns learned of this, they were outraged. They discussed this over coffee in the morning for weeks. But soon thereafter, a band of drow attacked the village to steal their valuable art. I still think that should have been trolls that do that, just from my SSA and Giant Heroic time, which was a significant investment of time. But as the drow attacked the village to steal their valuable art, and while the other fawns cowered in fear, Splat stood her ground. Unleashing her self-taught fighting style, she defended her village and sent the drow running. Now, as a member of the Skylanders, Splat makes quite the impression wherever she goes. Shopkins. Okay, so pretty cool. I really do like the twirl of the paint staff brush thing, See the color whirl? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, this is what's going to make or break her. She can be as cute as can be. She can have a pretty cool bio, not be boring, but if her upgrades suck, ultimately I will say she sucks, even though she's cute. So let's take a look at this. Alright, we've got Artisan Arts. Press X to pummel enemies with your brush staff. Let's see how that plays out. Heave Hue, she'll have a lot of color puns here, so brace yourself. Heave Hue, press B to fling an explosive ink blob at enemies. Released her unboxing, was it Wednesday night, Thursday, sometime. One of the reasons you should subscribe to me is you never know when I'm going to release videos. All these other American-based YouTubers is like, 10 a.m., noon, 4 p.m., these set schedules. Me, I'll release stuff anywhere from like midnight to 6 a.m. when I go to bed. So you never know what to expect. Anyway, these next 4 will be her base upgrades. Now, it's important to note if you're like, wait, why does he get it cheaper? Love me too, Activision. No, we're not that special. We just have 10 Wing Sapphires for the maximum 20% discount in the game. So, have an inkling. I had several of you. I mentioned this, I think, in the unboxing and then comment section. There's been quite a few of you. Also, some messages I received like, "Hey, it's Splat equals Splatoon," and that's pretty much on par. I've not played Splatoon. I've watched some of it. I've actually watched more Splatoon in Minecraft, which is actually pretty cool looking than I have like the legit Nintendo game. So for some reason I had so many high hopes for like this year's Wii U lineup, and not to take anything away from Splatoon, but Animal Crossing it was not. So anyway, have an inkling, and I'm still waiting for the Waluigi amiibo, Nintendo, while you're possibly not listening to me. Anyway, have an inkling, press Y to send an inkling charging forward, leaving damaging ink pools behind and hitting enemies in the way. So very cool. She gets started just like Nightfall with her tertiary attack. The inklings, we'll have to see. They could either like be pretty cool or they might annoy the snot out of me. and I'm not sure which, but that's probably going to be what we need for her quest, so we'll want to get that ASAP. After that, you've got Die Hard. I warned you about these puns, so don't say you didn't know. Melee attacks do more damage to enemies. These sparkly bits make it hurt more. Alright, so, and that glitter is not going to come out, by the way. It's going to be a part of your, clothes or your hair for like the next month. Broad Strokes is next. Press B to fling an even larger explosive ink blob at enemies. Again, my voice cutting out as we speak. Final base upgrade is Scapegoat. Press Y to summon a more powerful inkling that leaves behind longer lasting ink pools. Okay, simple enough. Now this top path here I believe will be the Prolific Painter path. Create ink pools and more powerful ink creatures with this path. Wet Paint is up first. Hold B and release to throw a huge explosive ink blob that will leave a pool of damaging ink on the ground. After that, you've got Canvas the Area. Ink pools created by Wet Paint are now larger. After that, you've got Shades of Pain. Hold B and release to throw a huge explosive ink blob that will create a large angry ink monster that attacks nearby enemies. Okay, now like I said, I've not played Splatoon. I guess the closest I came to playing it was at E3. But, you know how we've got like Bowser and Donkey Kong kind of cross-platforming between, Skylanders and Amiibo? Does it not seem like Splat is like Amiibo-worthy for Splatoon, Kind of, even if she just unlocked you an outfit, I could see like the paint staff becoming a weapon if it's not one already, which it could be. This little ink monster that we had, Scapegoat. I think it's worth considering. Again, I don't know, like, if the guys at Vicarious Visions were like, ooh, God, this Splatoon game is killer. It's like a first-person friendly shooter or something, and they're like, let's model a character. Or if it's all coincidence, I have no clue. But maybe for all we know, they kind of like pitched this character to Nintendo and some like, let's have, Bowser and Donkey Kong thing, and Nintendo's like, hey, we should make an FPS from that. I don't know, but all I know is the similarities here are pretty crazy. And given, like you can select the base, on Bowser and Donkey Kong, take them from Amiibo to Skylander, I could see her being like the best candidate, at least at this point in time from what I know of Superchargers, to then return the favor, where Skylanders becomes Amiibo, if you will. And I think she would actually be pretty dadgum cool there. It's very Inkling-esque, if you will. So down we go, though. This bottom path is Abstracted Designer. Brush up on your doodling skills. This gets points just for using doodling, in my opinion, to make your Inklings even more powerful. So Running Colors is up first. Inkling creatures now charge a further distance to hit enemies. That's like the color run type of a deal here. It's like everyone goes to that, even people that don't run. They just like need their picture made when they're covered in like glitter, and it's like you can do that at Michael's, But save yourself a lot of trouble in training. Anyway, Stroke of Genius is up next. Inklings and ink pools left behind by Inklings will now explode. That sounds fun. And lastly, Graffiti Gruff. Oh, this is kind of a tough one. This is like a Pokemon element. So hold Y even longer and release to draw a huge inkling that will trample enemies in front of you. I say Pokemon because it's like, do you want to team up with Gruff, or do you want to team up with Shades of Pain, the large angry ink monster? I don't know. It's going to be a tough choice, It's like Finnegan or Froakie. I don't, it's one of those types of a deal. So there's a lot here with Splat that would like cross into different games quite nicely. That said, regardless of the path you take, you get access to the Soul Gem, which is bringing this. I thought that said Stalin for a minute. I was like, how does this gonna tie in? Okay. We won't go there. We won't go there. Bringing the Stain. Enemies hit with ink attacks are now slowed. That kind of seems like a lackluster Soul Gem. I mean, I guess it'll probably be pretty beneficial given how everything seems to have ink, but you would think like it would be somewhere up here, and then like these two would like be over here. But I guess right here, this way you can kind of isolate. And I think it's going to be a deal that people that like Splat are probably going to really like her and want two figures to do the second path. Based on what I had been told from people, which I don't really ask to know these things, some people just like kind of tell me. It's like, man, you know, I do this blind, you know, surprises, you know, things of that nature. I kind of thought she would be like firecracking, you know, given the staff and everything. I'd heard some people say that. Some of the stuff, you know, just like looking at the two base kind of made it seem like it would be that way. But I don't know, she kind of seems a bit different than firecracking to me now. Kind of more of a artsy sort of standalone type of a way. So I guess the best thing we could do is get out there and kind of see how these 1-2 attacks go. So you spin that brush, girl. Anyway, we're gonna come out here and the primary attack, which is Artisan Arts. Okay, that is very firecracking-ish. It doesn't have the colors I had hoped it would. Again, it might be this is like a horrible setting color-wise for that, like the palette. Okay, 30, but only one? Well, that's lame. I thought we'd like rattle off like 3 of them at least, you know? So I guess, anyway, let's see if we rapid press that. Okay, that's a lot better. Alright, so what you just witnessed that we logged 30 on is just me pressing Y once and letting go. Let's now spam the Y button, as we should always do. Saw a 10 in there, 10 to 15, 40 to 60. Did we see a 35, or was I just like overlapping? So I'm not quite sure exactly, this is kind of like going too quick, but I'm thinking she does 30 to 45, and then like these intermediary brush strokes would then fire off to 10 to 15, and then she sort of like does that like ground pound type thing that's a 40 to a 60. So let's see if we can verify. Yeah, it's sort of like a 1, 2, 3. So that's okay. I'm cool with that. But it does, if you just look at it, you would think like she would do 30, you know, 20, 15, 10 may be like complicated, but I guess it's just kind of like after you get that initial first impact, she just like tickles you or stains your clothing. I don't know. So if we jump in the air, oh, that's cool. I just executed the combo all in the air. That's either really cool or we can like press the button faster than anyone in the world. And so I'm assuming that other people could do that, so it's probably just really cool. But again, let's try that out. Okay, that's awesome. Alright, let's jump in the air and see then on the basically the downstroke, the 40 to 60 ground pound deal. I want to see if we execute that mid-air, if we're going to bump up the 40 to 60. I doubt that we do, but hey, if we do, that would be fantastic. Okay, no, but note that we do register 3 hits there, and I think they're 230s. Very cool. So that was a 30-30-10, and then the 30 to 60. Alright, so we'll figure all that out later, but you kind of get a feel for it. She has a cool jump, too. Kind of spins side to side. Secondary attack, it was what, Heave Hew. We're going to press the B button and it'll fling an ink blob, I think, if I remember correctly. So let's do that non-consequential here. And basically like a 1.5, 2 seconds duration on the ground. 16 to 24, okay, we can work with that. Let's see if we can hit it from the back here. So it's hard to test the range, but it looks decent. It's a very slow attack. Let's actually spam it now. Let's see how many we can rattle off. Okay, you can spam it. That makes it way faster. If you just do it once, though, it's kind of like you just carefree over here, and it's like, hey, let's throw this beautiful ball of colors at the enemies. But then if you rapid tap me, it's like, okay. So, speaking of that, before my voice goes completely away, let's hop up here and stain some greebles, shall we?
Just pull that lever to get started with your training.
Alright, primary only, we're going to take this slow. So if I just do the tap X, we literally just do the 30. You know, there's no like auxiliary 10 to 15. Let's walk into him. Nothing. So now we will spam X. And he got wrecked. Alright, so what we want to do now is just secondary. Crits on. Let's come in and play with this. Oh yeah. Yeah, cool that looks from that angle. Alright, so that was a fun time. So that kind of gives you an idea. She's not huge damage numbers, particularly on the secondary attack, but when you can... You know what, Buzz? You deserve paint in the face for wearing that dorky hat. You're going to lecture us about being a ninja. You can wear that. Okay, now jumping in the air and throwing. Go ahead and check that out. Let's come down here.
The battle circle.
See what we got. Oh yeah. So same thing. Now let's see if I spam the B button while jumping. Okay, you can fire like 2, maybe 3 off. Yeah, it's basically 2 and then you touch back on the ground. But at least you can execute both the primary and the secondary from the air. Always cool to check. And now what we want to do to wrap this thing up is we're just going to talk to Buzz, see what her quest is,
soldier.
have it under our
your
belt,
training today.
and take down her base upgrades.
Hey there, Splat. Think you're ready to prove your skills?
You bet. It never hurts to brush up.
Well then,
way to go,
let's
Splat.
kick things off nice and easy. Slow down some enemies with your Have an Inkling ability, and then come on back.
And just like with Nightfall, what was Have an Inkling? The tertiary attack. It's the first one we get access to, so that'll play in nicely. I'll get her some cash along with Nightfall. We'll try to get their base upgrades cranked out. Along with Lava Lancer Updraft, I've not forgotten about him. And then we can kind of come in. I guess I didn't
Woohoo!
Did we do his quest? I may have not. I was so excited about getting him in the game. Anyway, Splat actually looks pretty cool. Doesn't look cool, but like, you know, she would have looked cooler if she looked like the figure. I'm saying, like, based on her upgrades, I think she might kind of actually be pretty neat. So we will see, though. We'll max her out, take her through everything, get her down a path, and see what we think. But very unique, and as usual, unique is something that I sincerely appreciate in Skylanders. They're all fairly unique, but there's some with, you know, unique moves, unique abilities, if you will, that kind of stand out above the rest. And there has not been anybody with anything like this, so should be pretty cool. And hopefully we pick a good path forward, take it from there. But again, if you're interested in Splat, she's available now. She's part of Wave 3. I got her at Toys R Us when they did their spend $40, get $20 deal, so I don't exactly know what I paid because they just make it complicated and take a little bit off of each figure, but $13.99, $12.99, somewhere in that range. GameStop's got her, Amazon's got her in stock. I assume Target and Best Buy, Walmart, you know, usual suspects. You should be able to find her. Again, right now, I don't think you'll have trouble picking her up, but as we get closer to Christmas, you know, stock might dwindle a bit. I'm not sure how many. I know there's like a probably there's quite a few girls, probably I would guess like 18 to my age-ish, and then parents that watch the channel. But in terms of like 5 to 10-year-olds, I don't know. Like if you're commenting, if you're like a young girl between those ages, I don't know based on usernames, but I think Splat's gonna be like the #1 request, you know, for that demographic of the game. And then of course anyone into art, anyone into the whole fawn or deer type of a thing, anyone that's like into the colors or something along those lines. So it's one of those deals, if you want to pick her up for a gift or something, do that now while she's available. Will she go out of stock? I don't know, I wouldn't think so, but there might be like an interval where, oh my gosh, Christmas, and everyone waited till the last minute, and then Splat disappears, and you might have to wait for like a restock. They don't do the amiibo thing, you know, where it's like, well, I wasn't at Target at 6 a.m., so I'll never own this unless I buy it from eBay. She'll come back in stock. It's just, you know, if you don't want to miss out on her, you know, or you have a birthday coming up early January type of a deal, keep that in mind. You know, always, if you got a decent sale, take advantage of it. So, nonetheless, this is Splat. It is the Art of War. And again, she's actually growing on me. Again, the first time I kind of rambled through her, I was grumpy. It's when I first started getting sick. And then that night, I looked at her figure through the packaging for the first time, believe it or not. And I was like, you know what? That actually looks really good. I shouldn't have said what I just said. But hindsight is 20/20 or something like that. But nonetheless, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned a little something, leave a like, leave a comment. Your support is much appreciated. It helps The small channels like myself compete with the mega third-party network conglomerate evilness that has become the YouTube scene. Cross-promotion is a killer, and I fight it as best I can. So, nonetheless, we won't get off on that too much this time. So, what I want to know in the comment section, if you have Splat, what do you think of her? Are you liking her? Are you not liking her? Again, kind of have a feel for this from the unboxing video. But if this is the first you've seen of Splat, maybe you're waiting for Christmas, maybe you're waiting for funds to replenish after buying stuff for everyone else for Christmas. What I want to know from those of you in that boat, based on what you saw here, the introduction, the primary, secondary, the upgrade pass, and whatnot, what do you think of her? Do you think she's going to turn out to be your favorite? Do you think she's going to be a bust? Leave your comment down below. If you're super into that sort of a thing, check out the Skylander Club forum, skylanderclub.com. My personal site is oneofwisdom.com. You can follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Once again, thanks so much for watching. For myself and the artistic Splat, we will catch you back here for more Skylanders Super.